Oh dear, evening all. Welcome back to Claret and Booze for a match review of our 1-0 defeat to Wolves. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm not relishing reliving this game as it was an utter shit show, if we're being honest. But we've got to take the bad times with the good. So let's face it, winning every week it gets a bit boring anyway, doesn't it? So it's good to mix it up a little bit. It's good to mix it up. But as you can see, Gary and John are not with us tonight. Gary's still in Bognor, and John is in Portsmouth with his sons. His son's playing away, playing football away, I should say. But fear not, Gatesy from Fultram Iron, he's kindly offered to fill in and help us deconstruct the game and offer some balance to my irrational ranting that's going to go on in a little bit. I'm sure you're all aware who Gatesy is, but if not, he runs his own West Ham channel called Fultram Iron. It's a great channel. Go and check it out, and I have put the link in the description. So go and have a look later. So before we get into the review, let's kind of look. Let's reflect on some positives and sort of add some balance to this, right? We were never realistically gonna win the league. Chelsea, Liverpool, and City, they're flying. And whilst in recent weeks there's been comparisons drawn between our team versus that Leicester team of 15-16, there's one critical difference really, and that's that in 15-16 all the top teams were shit. This season that's not the case, which means that realistically, if a realistic high target is probably going to be fourth spot. So what that means is obviously, we lost this weekend, but we've got to be sort of looking at the teams that are chasing our tails. And two of those teams, Arsenal and Man United, they got absolutely pumped today. They really did. Man United capitulated and got embarrassed 4-1 away at Watford. Maguire, he got sent off. It just goes from strength to strength, that bloke, doesn't he? And it does look as though Ollie's time at the wheel is coming to an abrupt end, which, in my opinion, is a bad thing.
That's a shame.
I'd like him to stay. But in Ollie we trust. But never mind. And obviously, as we know as well, Arsenal they got goosed away at Liverpool 4-0. So these are two teams that are chasing our tails. They lost, and what that means is that we're safely sat in fourth spot in the table. We're on 23 points after 12 games with a +9 goal difference, I think it is. Arsenal were in fifth place. They're just 3 points behind us, but they've got a -4 goal difference. So what that means is we go to Man City next, and even if the worst would happen, a game where you could almost accept losing, if we were to lose that, we retain our fourth place. We stay there even if we lose that game. We're still in the top four for now. So it's not all bad, and let's face it, we can't expect to win every single game. But so I just thought, I thought I'd try and add some balance to it before it starts getting a bit nasty, before it starts getting a bit naughty now. Is that a fair assessment, Gatesy?
I think you did pretty well. I dare say you were probably finding it quite difficult to keep certain things that you want to say under wraps for a little spell. But yeah, I mean, listen, taking a look at the bigger picture. We sit here and we've played 12 games and we're in fourth place, 23 points. And even if we lose next week, as you say, unless there's a 14 goal swing in Arsenal's favour and we lose and they win, then we're going to retain fourth place. Exactly. If you'd have offered that to most West Ham fans before a ball was kicked after 12 matches, you'd have absolutely taken it. And anyone that says otherwise is a liar.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't mean to say that you can't put that to one side and say, okay, yes, it's been a great season thus far, but we can examine this game in isolation and say that actually it wasn't an acceptable performance.
No, absolutely. I agree. And that's kind of what we've got to do. Doing what we're doing now. We praise the team when they do well. If you're going to do a match review, you've got to review that match on its merit. And I think that's what we're going to do. So before we get into it, a quick disclaimer for anyone that doesn't enjoy honesty and a bit of negativity. This probably might be the time to turn off if you've just tuned in. We lost the game and we played shit. So we're gonna be honest with our opinions. The point of a review is
might be a few swear words
each game. Maybe one or two. Nothing too strong though. Nothing too strong. But so that's
saying
what
about strong, Nick.
Yeah.
The old rum and coke.
The old rum and coke. Yeah, look, we got
Needs to be done.
we got a Tottenham fan on here who I don't know if you saw that one,
Ah,
Gatesy, the lasagna man.
listen, I've got a Tottenham fan here. I'm married to one, mate.
Oh no,
I know.
Oh
I know.
dear. Oh dear. But
She can
but
cook
look,
and I can't.
yeah, that's it. That's it. So look, let's get started. Anyway, like I say, we're not going to ponder on the game for too long because what we're going to do is I don't want to go through every single detail. We're going to sort of run through first half, second half, and then we'll get into player reviews. But most West Ham fans were rightly feeling optimistic going into this game. That they were, we've been flying. I called a 3-2 win on our preview, and we all called the starting lineup. Which, let's be honest, it's not rocket science. Moyes doesn't make too many changes to personnel or style. It was just whether or not those rumours that were circulating about Rice and Suchek and a couple of others that may, that's the only way that we weren't going to start with this team. So there was no shocks there for me. I mean, were you happy with the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, when I did our pre-match stream that went out this morning, I got all 11 players right, and as you say, it's not rocket science. It's the first 11 pretty much picks itself
every week. It's the same every week.
So that was pretty straightforward to predict. And the Wolves lineup, I got 10 out of 11 of theirs. The only one I didn't get right, I thought that Moutinho might not play. No, right. I think I had. Oh, who did I have in playing in central mid instead of Moutinho? I'm trying to remember now. Anyway, whatever. I got 11 out of 10 as far as they were concerned. So the teams weren't really a shock when they were announced. That and let's be honest, I think if you'd have got 10 West Ham fans and said name the team that you'd pick, that would probably have been it for at least 8 of them.
Yeah, so, absolutely. And so, like I say, I mean, going into the game, and we had every right to feel optimistic. It's not delusional.
Absolutely.
We've been on an absolute monster run, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I called a 3-2, so I thought I wasn't saying we was going to batter Wolves. I think Wolves are a good team.
Yeah.
But I did expect to win. But anyway, like I said, we're not going to relive every moment play by play because I just can't be asked. So we'll just do a quick summary before getting into Moyes and the player rating. So. First half, I thought we started brilliantly well. We were all over Wolves for about 10 minutes, created a few excellent chances, and it was looking like playing out how we all imagined. But then something changed tactically from Wolves' perspective. All of a sudden, we were outnumbered in midfield. Wolves dominated possession dramatically in that last 30 minutes of the half, and we were pretty much camped in our own half. And the halftime analysis that I watched, it had the possession stats in the final 30 minutes of that half at 83% to 17% in Wolves' favour. Now, it does seem extreme, but it's pretty much in line with what I witnessed because on the balance of playing that first half, we were fuck lucky to be going in level at the break. And I was fuming because there were some awful individual performances. Gatesy, what were your thoughts on that first half?
I thought up until the 13th minute, I think it was, when Jared Bowen had that header that flashed wide of Jose Sarr's goal. Up to that point, I thought we were doing well. But as you say, basically from that point on, something somewhere along the line changed. Whether it was, players' legs just sort of like gave way from under them, whether it was the Wolves manager making a few little tactical tweaks. I suspect it was the latter. But something happened from that point on. And as you say, from that moment on for the remainder of that first half, we were seeing very, very little of the ball. I didn't realise that the stats were that bad for the second 30 minutes of the sort of like from minute 15 to 45. That it was basically an 80-20 split in possession stats in Wolves' favour. I didn't realise it was that bad, but it doesn't surprise me, I guess. We seem to be giving the ball away. So, every time we had the ball,
we'd regressed. And the thing is, it weren't like because quite often West Ham, when they're out of possession, if it happens quite a lot when you play Liverpool or Man City, and we're quite comfortable. We're good at that kind of deep press. We're good, but we weren't comfortable. We weren't defending well. Zuma didn't look comfortable on the left side of that centre back pairing. That was his most shaky game. He looked rattled, which is a worry, isn't it? Because I thought that we were going to be okay with Ogbonna dropping out because of the players that we've got, but it looks like that left sided centre back is going to cause us a bit of a problem because he did look rattled.
I because when Dawson came on in the Liverpool game for Ogbonna, they didn't swap sides in that match, did they? Correct me if I'm wrong.
They did switch.
Did they?
I think Zuma went over to the left-hand side. Yeah, so that did happen. But
Yeah.
again, in that game, it looked okay. But I don't know. It might have just been a bad day at the office. Don't forget, Zuma played international football as well. So we'll have to wait and see. And we are where we are. So one of them's got to adopt that position and try and own it. You know. But for me, I did want Souček hooked at half time. You know, I was calling for that on Facebook. Reason being, we just couldn't hold on to that ball, and the attackers were. We weren't getting the ball. They were starved of possession, and I thought Souček, to be honest, as he's often been this year, he was a bit of a ghost. He was chasing shadows in that first half, and we needed to start holding that ball and getting creative in that central area. We did. We needed someone to start knitting the plays together, and Lanzini gives you that. And sort of going into the second half, I was fucking raging when we started the second half in exactly the same way with no changes. You know, and I was gobsmacked because there isn't a West Ham fan watching that game that couldn't see that Wolves were going to score. Well, it was coming. That goal was coming from about the 15th minute. We could see it, and you know
massively.
What? He waited. He just stuck with it, and the chances kept coming. They kept going into the game, and it's like he froze, and he hasn't been like this year so far.
Yeah,
but he waited until they scored, and at that point, I'm sorry, with Wolves with their tails up, they're you know, it just kind of. I mean, when Lanzini did come on, he did make that change. Lanzini did come on, and it did make a difference initially for about 5 minutes because Lanzini, you know, he was the best player on the pitch at that point. He was holding the ball, he was creative, he was knitting play together. You know, it's not all about being a big physical battering ram. Sometimes you've got to actually play football. You know,
a little bit of craft.
A little bit of craft, and that's what he gives you. You've got someone with a bit of technical ability in there, and then all of a sudden, Bowen and Ben Rama, who they weren't overly good apart from the first 10 minutes in the first half. They started to grow back into that game because all of a sudden we started getting the ball forward again. They did, and although Ben Rama was frustrating me at times, I thought Bowen was playing well, but Ben Rama was frustrating me at times. I think Benny plays better with someone like Lanzini in that side. So when Moyes then went on, was it 5 or 10 minutes later, he then removes Bowen for Yarmolenko, which is a downgrade. I don't care what you say. That is a downgrade in position. And then he does the same with Vlasic. Now, I've been really kind of defending Vlasic because people have been going on and on that he's a waste of money, and I think you've got to give him time, and you have. But Gatesy, I am sorry. He resembled a 10-year-old, a scared 10-year-old up against men. He had no strength, no pace, no desire. He was getting ragdolled. I am yet to see. I'll be honest. We'll get into the players, but with him particularly, I'm yet to see him do anything. He doesn't do anything. There doesn't seem to be any end product.
I wonder if it's confidence, Nick. I really do wonder if his confidence has taken a bit of a battering. Because I just look and think. We've spent, if you believe it, 19 million upwards to 30 million, depending upon how the deal's been structured. And we must have looked at a player. If we're going to spend that sort of money, I mean, David Moyes is not a mug.
No.
David Moyes must have looked at that player and thought he's worth that expenditure. But this player that we've got so far, he just doesn't look. Charlie, hope you're doing well, mate. He just doesn't look like a player of that sort of like in that sort of price bracket, if you will. I do wonder if it's just a confidence issue. I just wonder if it's him. I wonder if he's just this season's Ben Rama, and this season we're kind of going to have to accept that he's going to need to.
At least with Ben Rama though, Gatesy. At least last year he was disappointed at times, but at least with Ben Rama, you got a glimpse of something.
Yeah.
Every now and then you got a glimpse of what he could do.
We're not seeing it with Vlasic, are we?
We're not seeing that with Vlasic. That's all I want from him. I just want to see one thing, one run. Take a player on, skin him, put a good cross in, have a good shot at goal. I haven't seen one thing. I think he goes through the motions. He runs about a lot. And I'm sure he can't be a bad player. He was rated when he was rated like the player. He got player of the year in
Russia.
in that Russian league. So technically, he can't be a bad player. But he did look to me, like I say, the thing that shocked me most of him was he resembled like a little child playing up against a load of big physical lads.
Reminded me a little bit of Meepo up at Old Trafford.
Yeah,
didn't look, it was like a fish on a bicycle.
No. So from that point on, obviously Yarmolenko came on that right hand side. There is not a defender in world football that doesn't know what Yarmolenko's going to do when he picks the ball up and he runs down the wing on the right hand side. They all know at some point he's chopping in onto his left and he's going to try and have a shot. He must be so easy to defend against, to mitigate against.
I'd love to play poker against him.
Yeah, exactly. I know you've won the fortune, but he kind of so like I say, Bowen. That was, I think he was too slow with his substitutions, and more often than not this season he's been bang on. He's been 10 out of 10. Moyes has, but today he was too slow with his substitutions. He waited until we went. He basically waited until we went a goal down, and then the changes that he made. He didn't make the right change. He brought Lanzini on, which in my opinion was the right thing to do, and you could see it as soon as he came on. But I just think he could have taken off our kind of premium attacking players in Bowen and Benrahma. You've got to give Lanzini something to work with. If you want him to create and sort of create from deep, and you've got to give him something. I mean, I think more or less straight away from the off, you saw when Lanzini picked the ball up from deep, straight away, quickly, bang, he played a ball out down that left. Benrahma's on it. Yeah, fair enough. Nothing came of it. But it was a quick attack, and that's something that we were lacking. Everything's too ponderous. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes. And that's why when you got someone like Lanzini in there, he does give you a little bit more. Now, what you have got, I think John's commented something. Yeah, where is it? Now,
the Russian league.
No, there we go. Look, so I think Lanzini possibly played himself into the next starting lineup. What do you think? I've been thinking that for about the last when he came on against Aston Villa, John, and he changed the game in that game. I thought that should have been the case. He should be. He's one of our best footballers. He is.
Oh yeah,
100%. Now it gives you something different. As you know. It probably comes across like I hate Souček. I don't hate him. I do rate him as a player, but I think he's a tool that you use in certain games. I do. I don't think you use him in every scenario. Now today, you give him the ball, he plays. He does. He's not comfortable on the ball, is he?
Passing's not his bag, is it? He's not like Manuel Lanzini passing the ball. That's his thing. Thomas Souček is making sort of like marauding runs forwards and getting on the end of sort of like, making late runs into the box, blah, blah, blah. For whatever reason this season with him, it hasn't happened. And today he was a passenger. He really was a passenger, might as well have played with. And I love Thomas Souček. He did fantastic for us last season and the half season the year before when we were fighting relegation. But I got to call it as I see it this season. For whatever reason, whether it's that he's tired, whether it's because his role within the team has evolved because Declan Rice's role has evolved as well, I don't know. But the bottom line is that his performances this season is a polar miles apart from where he was last season.
I think you can go back further than that, Gatesy. I think you can go back to when Lingard was introduced to our team. Our playing style changed. From that point on, Souček didn't really score. He weren't getting forward. So from that moment where we started playing fast, fluid football, Souček almost fell away from being our attacking force, which he was initially, because in the first part of that season, it was all whipping balls into the box, late runs, and it was brilliant. It was working well. But then our attack did change, and from that point on, he's a shadow of that player that he was for us. And whether or not it's him as a player, people keep on saying he's tired. Well, if he's tired, fucking give him a rest. Put him on the bench and give someone else a go. It's no good for him. If that is the reason that he's struggling and he isn't doing well, then why is he?
Why did we bring Alex Kral in? That's the question I would ask.
Exactly.
We brought Alex Kral in that can play in that position.
Exactly.
He's barely kicked a ball.
We've got cover. Give him a go. He can't be any worse than what Souček's been for the past few games. It's almost like you say Souček's had a good game when he's not been utterly shit. That's kind of where we are with Souček now. He's never a world beater, and that's a shame because he was a world beater when he came in. He was so important. He was so important to the way that we played. And I think for whatever reason, something's happened. Maybe we're not getting the best out of him, but I think he almost needs to be taken out of the firing line to a degree because fans, I'm not going to be on my own. Fans are going to start getting pissed off with him.
Yeah.
And he's going to start losing his confidence. He'll know he's not playing well. And there are players like Lanzini who he's playing out of his skin. These players, when someone's not doing well and someone is playing well, you've got to at least see that there is passage into that team. You know?
Do you think, Nick, that today has kind of given an answer to the people that have been saying, but we don't need Jesse Lingard. We've moved on. I massively disagree with that statement.
100%. 100%.
Everybody that's been saying that, I'm just looking at them and going, because all they do is they come to me and they go, but Gatesy, he wouldn't get in our starting 11. Now, take today to one side. Up to today, I could probably have turned around and gone, do you know what? Fair play. That's probably at the moment, up to today, I could probably say fair enough. But
he still walked in.
On the basis of today, yes, absolutely.
Listen, go back to this fixture last year. We won 3-2. Who was the star? Who scored the goal? Who got the assist? And who was in? He also was involved in the second goal as well.
Yeah.
It was an absolute masterclass from Lingard that day, and that is the difference. And my issue with Ben Rama, whether or not he will become consistent or not, I don't know. My issue with Ben Rama, because Moyes won't play like he plays with those four attackers that we've got. Fornals, he's quite cultured, but he's a workhorse. Bowen is he's like a Moyes dream. He's a workhorse. He's direct. He does so much for the team. Antonio's the same. I think we've only got room for one luxury player to be a creative force in that team, to be afforded time to sort of express themselves and try and do things a little bit different. I don't think that Ben Rama has enough good games to keep his spot if Lingard comes in. He can have a 9 out of 10 game, and that will be sandwiched in between 5s and 6 out of 10 games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That is the criticism. I mean, on his day, Benny looks absolutely magic. He really does. But as you say, it's quite inconsistent. He'll have a good game, then he'll have a not so good game, then he'll have 2 good games, then he'll have another not so good game, and it's just that there's not really. I'd much rather him have like a couple of 7 out of 10 games rather than a 9 out of 10 game followed by a 6 out of 10 followed by. Do you know what I mean? It's all over the place.
That's what Bowen is. Bowen is a consistent 7 to 9 out of 10 player.
Yeah,
every single week, you know what you're getting out of him. He's brilliant. But Sean did say this as well, and the Wolves manager, he is doing a great job, mate. And that's why. Even though we had every right to feel like we was going to get a result going into this game because we've been on such a good run. But I did say 3-2. I weren't saying that we was going to walk it. I was expecting them to score. So
well, they're a different team. I mean, obviously they've got a new manager, and I had one of the Wolves fan YouTube channel lads from Sweet and Sour Soccer on with us the other day, and he was fairly convinced that it would be a West Ham win. But I asked him the question, because to be honest, I hadn't seen much of Wolves up to this point, and I was asking him the question that, has the new manager fundamentally changed your pattern of play? And he was like, oh yeah, we're much more. Whereas under Nuno, we was very much like the Mourinho style of play, because obviously he's a disciple of Mourinho, Nuno.
Yeah.
Sort of like very defensive, sit back, whatever, and bore the crap out of you. Bruno Lage is much more on the front.
They dominate the ball, don't they?
Yeah, you can see this, and this was the thing that kind of concerned me. That coupled with the question marks over Declan Rice and Antonio was, are we going to go into this game expecting what we got last season? Because it's not going to be. This is going to be a team that might be the same personnel, but they're going to play a completely different style of football.
A different style, and I think John's got a point there as well. He thinks that they will. Wolves, they are going to raise their game against us now.
Yeah.
Teams like that are going to raise their game against us, like we raise our game when we play Liverpool or when we play Man City. We've kind of shifted up a few places now.
Yeah,
I
we're a scalp.
We've gone forward, and we are a scalp, and teams are gonna come after us. That they really are.
And we've got to be prepared for that. That goes with the territory, Nick. It's the old saying in it. You can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen, and that's the thing. If we're gonna have the ambition of being a team that's going to fight for that 4th place spot, which is up for grabs this season, then we have to accept that when we go to Molineux, when we go to Villa Park, when we go to Turf Moor, wherever, we're going to be a scalp. We are the big boy rolling into town, and they're going to absolutely love to give us a bloody nose. Absolutely love it, and we got to be prepared for that.
Absolutely, and I think it's all, and it is a learning curve. As it's a bit of it might be good for us. It might be good to have a bit of a grounding.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, there have been times this season where although we've been brilliant, and we're the league table speaks for itself, and you look at our run of results. We've not played brilliant in every game, but we've managed to grind out results. We've been defensively resolute. The issue today was we had one of those games where we played shit, but defensively we were shocking. And I'm not talking about Cresswell and Johnson either, because I think those two had good games. I think it was more in the centre-back pairing, and it was probably due to the fact that Wolves overran us in midfield, and Rice was almost trying to do the job on his own in the centre of that park there, because Souček was 5 yards too slow. He won't get into anything. He did make a couple of interceptions, and then he had I know people will say, he had a shot from 20 yards on goal. Well, that shot was a chance. He was given the ball, and he's put that right down the keeper's throat. He had a clear shot on goal. That was one of the rare chances that we had. So even that, fair enough. He had a shot, but I don't know. But yeah, look, Antonio. What's this one here from Bonnie Hammer? Antonio should never have started. I predicted this before the game that he would be jaded. I don't think Antonio was the problem, though. I don't.
And the thing is, though, Nick, and I hear what Bonnie Hammer's saying, but who would have replaced Antonio? That's the problem, is that Antonio, and I've discussed this with many people, my brother principally, and it's like, if Antonio's 70-60% fit, 80% fit, whatever, and available, he plays. And he knows he's going to play. And I don't think that's a particularly healthy dynamic, that he knows that he's going to play. Everybody has to fight for the shirt. But obviously he doesn't, because it's like, well, who else is going to play as the number 9? I mean, if we have to, you could put Bowen there. But that's it.
I think you could play. The trouble is, I think Bowen could be a forward player. The issue when you play Bowen as a centre forward is you miss him on that right hand side.
Yeah, because you're robbing Peter to feed Paul. So then you're putting you're going to put Yarmolenko there or Vlasic. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
I'll tell you what I will say. The player that we've been linked with for a few windows, Wang Hee-chan. I'd take him in a heartbeat. He's like Bowen on the other side.
He's a worker, isn't he?
He's the type of player. He works. He's technically very good. He's superb. And imagine if you had Bowen one side, him the other. That's with a bit of creativity in the middle, and Antonio up front. And the thing is, what a deal they've got there, mate. They've got him on a loan, and the permanent signing fee I read was about 12 million. So they've got an option to sign him for 12 million.
Oh, it's not. Is it not an obligation then?
I don't think it's no. It's not. No.
Okay.
I think it's an option. I may be wrong.
There's still hope that we could, if it's an option, there's hope that, if
I'll take him. Well, doesn't he look like a Moyes player?
Oh, yeah.
He does.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there was talk about he was coming in, what was it, January, wasn't it? He was linked. I don't think he was linked so much in the summer, but yeah, on the basis of what I've seen of him so far in the Premier League and today, principally, would I take him? Yeah, you're damn right I would.
Yeah, 100%. He's certainly, when you look at the bloke who we've just paid, if you'd believe it, up to 35 million for, there's no difference there, and he's come from, where's he come from? Was it Salzburg? RB Salzburg?
No, Leipzig.
Oh, he's come from Leipzig, so he comes from a good league. He comes from a tough league as well. So, but yeah, like I say, when and if John said here, when and if Jesse comes in, Benny will be going to the African nations, and then when he gets back, he is going to have a fight for his place. I don't even think there's going to be a fight for his place, to be honest. He's going to be a bench player. I think he will, because Fornals, Moyes loves Fornals. He didn't have his best game today, but for obvious reasons, they've just had a baby, haven't they? He's probably up at 4 in the morning changing nappies.
All a bit of a shock.
Yeah. Right, what's this one here? So from Chris Miles. Apologies if you've covered this. Despite the result, Cresswell had a great game, both defensively. Yeah, he did. Honestly,
only criticism I'm going to make is I did think for the goal he got pulled out of position in the build-up.
Yeah, they were dragging us all over the place. And in the first half, in particular, if you remember, what was happening was Cresswell was coming in on the inside. I think he was coming in to sort of tuck in and cover Zuma because Zuma was struggling.
Yeah.
Fornals, you could see Fornals had been tasked as almost a second bloody left back, and he kept on letting Semedo go. The amount of times that Fornals kind of switched off, it's not his fault. He's not a fullback, is he?
No.
That Semedo kept on getting away from him. But yeah,
There was
I agree.
there was something I saw. Oh, sorry, Nick, but they were saying about sort of like how deep Fornals was. There was something I saw on the website Who Scored, I think it was, and they've got like this thing where it shows you the average positions of each player, and Pablo Fornals was deeper than Aaron Cresswell.
Kent Hammers, who is the Wolves 26?
I think that's Wang, isn't it? I think.
Is that him?
I think so. Hang on a minute. I'll soon tell you. I got a funny feeling it was Wang.
Because he is. He's a good player. He's got everything. He's no frills. That
Wang. That's him.
What a player! And like I say, they've got a real bargain on their hands there if they close that deal. I don't know about this from Chris. I still think Yarmo is our best number 9 option because he's. Yeah, I agree with that, Chris. He's no use out on the right wing, especially now that he's a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
No,
thing is, everybody says about he's Ukraine's record goal scorer, but the thing is, it's like for the Ukraine, he's the main man, and the whole team is built around him. And get the ball to Yarmo, he'll do the rest, and fine, not a problem. But he's not the main man at West Ham, and
no,
he's not a striker. He's played on the right, and as you say, Nick, everybody knows what he's going to do. The ball comes to him. Well, he's just going to chop in on his left and get a shot away every single time. I mean, if he had a right foot, it'd be quite useful. But
he has put a couple of. He surprised me a few times where he's whipped a ball in with his right foot, and it's been okay. But obviously, look, we know how good that left foot is. So it is kind of the one lethal tool in his armory. So he's always trying to do that because if you do, what I will say, I think when he gets a shot off, he's probably one of the best finishers at the club. But the issue is everyone knows what he's going to do. You can forecast it.
Yeah.
So we've got hello Cyber Leader. We've got Gary Nottage. Games catching up with certain players. Put Crow on for a few games to see how it goes. Yeah, I would give him a go now. I mean, I would. I mean, I'd rather play Crowd and Souček. I've got to be honest. I'd rather play Crowd and Souček.
Or I'd play Lanzini there. Put Lanzini alongside Declan Rice.
100%. That's I've been calling for that, but there's so many people that say no because there's this obsession with people going, "Oh, he's not physical enough." You've got to have these. Well, it's okay being. You've got to have some craft. You've got to have some technical ability from deep. If you've got good attacking players, they need to be given the ball, and if the ball's got to be moved forward quickly as well because these Premier League teams, these openings, they appear and they disappear in an instant.
Yeah.
So you need someone to be able to see that and play that ball, and that's what Lanzini can do.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to that. Because he's not a physical specimen, he can't play in the
we agree.
Position. Yeah. I'm not being funny. I mean, N'Golo Kante, he's not sort of like 6'2" and built like a brick shit house, is he? And,
no. Yeah, well, there you go. Exactly. And I will say
Philip Lahm played there. I mean, he converted. I mean, Pep converted him at Bayern Munich. He converted him from a fullback to a defensive mid in his latter years, and he was absolute mustard. And he was about 5'6".
I know. Yeah, I know. It doesn't make any sense really, but I do think there is this obsession with big players at the moment for us, especially because we're such a threat from set pieces.
Yeah.
But you got obviously John is our resident Noble fanboy. Do you think that Noble could have done any better than Souček today, John? He wouldn't.
I could have done better.
He wouldn't have done any worse. And honestly, I think I could have done as what Souček did today. So you got obviously Chris saying, yeah. Well, look. I'm glad people are starting to see it now. You know, and that's what I don't like because I've had some raging arguments on this channel when it goes into. Because Gary just won't have it. Like he's kind of no. Souček is brilliant. He'll say that Souček's been good this season. He has not been good this season. And then it comes out because I start boiling up. Then I watch it back and I think, oh shit, it looks like I don't hate him. I just think that we've got a better option in Lanzini at the moment. And I think in certain games, look, if you're playing Liverpool. You're playing Man United and Souček's on form and you need that solid line of defence, strength in the middle. In that sort of game there, I can completely understand it. But in games where we're expected to take, like this game today, we're playing Wolves. Yep. We should have been taking the game to them today. In those types of games, you need technical footballers. You do people who can
And
use the ball.
he's not going to give the ball away cheaply. I mean, Lanzini, he's a brilliant passer of the ball. Whereas Souček, that's not his strength, as we say. He's quite wasteful with the ball. He's not a very good passer. That's not his strength. So yeah, I would like to see Lanzini playing. Well, put it this way, I'd like to see Lanzini playing. Period. Now, whether they play him as the defensive mid, or alongside Rice or Souček or Crowell or Noble, whatever, or whether they play him a little bit further up, I don't mind.
I think you need to get the best out of Lanzini now, because he has, ever since his injury, he has lost that little bit of pace that he had. I think operating from deep, he's perfect. I think he can he's in an area where we lack technical ability. He gives us that. He knits defense to attack. Like I say, it's moving that ball quick. It's moving it quick. And that's something that we don't do. It's painful. It's like when you see Rice, and that's not, I'm not having to go at Rice, but when Rice ain't got no, Rice is good, he's progressive. But when it's just Rice, Souček, and maybe Dawson, it's like the world's slowest triangle, isn't it, that we play? It's like, get the ball, couple of touches.
At least Lanzini's going to pop it off, sort of like he's going to get the ball moving forwards quickly.
Yeah, I know. But Lanzini to start Thursday, that's the European game, isn't it?
Yeah, Vienna.
I don't want him playing the European. I want him to play in the Premier League. That's what I don't want him to be in the B team anymore. And that's a
thing is, if he played against Vienna and if he absolutely ripped it up, I think it makes it very, very, very difficult especially on the back of this performance. I think he makes it very difficult for David Moyes to drop him for the game at City.
Yeah, I really do. Yeah. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I mean, look. Moyes has proved with Johnson that because Soufal is one of Moyes' favourite players, obviously, as he is of all of ours. But Johnson's come in, he's got the place, he's got that place, he's made it his own, and Moyes.
What did you think of him today?
I think he was all right. I think he was good. He did nothing wrong, and he was like I say, I thought the fullbacks were okay. I thought the fullbacks were fine. It was central defence, even though Dawson was the better of the two centre backs today. There was sloppy passes going from everyone. Fabianski's distribution today, fuck me. I almost broke my telly at one point.
Mind you, I thought he made a couple of cracking saves, though, to be fair, Nick. I'm not being funny. If it hadn't been for him, we'd have got absolutely smashed out of sight.
He did, but his distribution was terrible. And Zuma's, I mean, that pass back. Did you see that?
Jesus. That was embarrassing. I was like, what are you doing?
He's received the ball. He's got caught under his feet, and he's turned like an Arctic lorry, and he's rolled the ball back.
Mate,
I thought Babs is going to knock this in.
Embarrassing.
I know,
absolutely embarrassing.
But that's
got away with it.
But these are the fine margins. This is why it's so important that you play players in the rightful positions, because Zuma playing on the right side of defence, he looks like a world beater. And there's obviously a big difference there. There must be. We spoke about this last night. I don't really understand because I'm not a centre back, so I don't see massively what the difference is. But there clearly is a difference.
There is. Yeah,
there clearly is a difference.
You got Ken Hammond. What would you say, Nick? Just before we go on, what would you say? Forget Vienna for a moment. Let's concentrate on the City game. Would you go Dawson and Zuma again in the same?
Yeah, no, I
slots
would.
Or
100%. I think Zuma is going to have to learn if he's not comfortable in that position. He's the most capable centre back at the club. He's probably the most talented. So if there's a reason why when he came on against Liverpool, Dawson, that he switched Zuma out to the left, it must be because Dawson definitely can't play there. I know Diop can't play there either, because a lot of the times when Diop had his bad games, if you remember, it's when he was played on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
It was. So maybe it's the same for him. So I think I would stick with those two because we need another partnership. Zuma's allowed a wobbly game. He's been brilliant since he's come in. Cresswell, we've got another option there. I do, against Man City, you don't need Souček. They're a little quick team. You don't need Souček against City. I'm sorry, you don't. I know they've got Rodri in the middle, but Rice can deal with Rodri. The rest of them, they're all fucking 4 foot tall and just quick, aren't they? So you need someone who can rat around after him and maybe
Lanzini,
put him in, play a bit of football. Yeah.
Are you watching, Mr. Moyes?
Exactly. Yeah, I hope he is. So right, Kent Hammers. Thomas is 65 to 70% of what he was last season. I agree.
Yeah,
and like
I agree.
I'll go back. I think he's 65 to 70%. Even the tail end of last season, I think he got the hammer of the year based on that first part of the season. And you've got Chris Miles. All players have phases of good and then poor. Yeah, they
True.
do. They do. John play Thursday. Yeah, so Lanzini again plays well. Moyes keeps the faith. Yeah. Hopefully, but hopefully. Bad day at the office. I feel like a Man United fan in the 90s, losing the occasional game. Kent Hammers. Dawson has got no technical skill. We missed Oggy badly. He can pass it in the mid. That's true, because a lot of our threat this year has been down that left-hand side. And you know what? I think we overlook how important Ogbonna is, because Ogbonna is a bit of he's a bit of a flair centre back. He does kind of he can pick a pass.
I'm going to say something controversial.
Go on.
What do you think about maybe dropping Declan Rice back into centre back?
No, not
or change your formation, maybe going 3 at the back.
Yeah, no, that's the point. You know, Gary mentioned this earlier on text. I was talking to Gary on text earlier on, and we basically discussed this because he didn't watch the game. He's in Bognor at the moment, so he was quite calm while I was raging, and he was saying, "No, you need to settle yourself down a bit." I was like, "You didn't watch the fucking game,
you didn't see it, mate."
Yeah, but he said that. He said maybe go to a back 3 and put Cresswell on that left-hand side to balance it out a bit. Yeah. That could be something that we look at. But I but again, I know we've done it before and it's been successful. My fear of that is the only time that we've seen 3 at the back this season was away at Genk, and that was a fucking catastrophe.
Yeah,
that was really bad, wasn't it? So
maybe that's just sort of like the audition, and the main event is away at City. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's one option, isn't it?
John Dan, am I writing Zuma off? No, I'm bloody not writing Zuma off. I love Zuma, but he definitely struggled on that left hand side though. Today, he was at the game 14.5-hour trip. Oh,
that's brutal, Kent.
Oh, mate, what a day!
14.5 hours, Jesus.
I know.
What was you walking?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's get onto the player ratings, Gatesy.
Yeah.
And again, before we start. Yes, I'm aware that Fornell's had a newborn. You know, Benny and Antonio and others have been travelling around the world, and Rice has just recovered from an illness, and we just lost Oggy. But you know, Wolves have also had players away in international duty. We're not the only team in the league that have been in this scenario. So you know, we've got to judge it based on what it is.
Yeah.
We were slow. So what we're going to do, Gatesy, we're going to do a new format for our player ratings.
Ooh.
All right. So this is new. So this is
I'm the guinea pig. I see.
You're the guinea pig. So here we go. So right. So basically, that's 1 to 4. So obviously, let me get rid of me badge. That's pissing me off. All right, get rid of that. So what we've got, obviously, man of the match. Man of the match is there was no 10s today. So there's no half marks. You got a 9, 8, 7, 6, and a 5. That should be 1 to 4. Anyone who's below a 5 is a donkey. Right? You're gonna get their head replaced. Right. So that's what we're doing today. So
okay.
So let's start with Mr. Fabianski. So what rating would you give Fabs?
Yeah, I agree that what you said earlier about his distribution, but we know his distribution's crap. But his primary objective is to keep the ball out of the back of the net. Now, I know obviously he let the ball in the back of his net one time, but I don't think I can blame him for that. There was absolutely nothing he could do about it, in my view. He made a couple of good saves, 2 from Prudence, if I remember correctly. I'd give him a 7.
You give him a 7. No, I'll go with that. I think I don't think he did anything sort of dramatically wrong. So there we go. So we'll give Fabs a 7. Should we go underneath? There we go. Right, let's go. Johnson at right back. You weren't sure about Johnson, was you?
Yeah, I thought he got caught a couple of times on the ball. And the one criticism I've not criticism, but reservation I've had of him is going forwards. Although, you know, it's funny because I think that going forwards, Vladimir Tufal offers more in terms of assists. Yet the funny thing is that Ben Johnson's got 2 goals for the club and Vladimir Tufal's got none. So it's a bit of a weird one.
We did one of these lineup things, and I was having. I basically said the week before he scored that goal, I was arguing with Mary and John how he's got no attacking threat, and then the very next game, it might have even been the next day because I think we did the Friday or the Saturday, and then he literally does that, literally chops inside onto his left. What a goal! But no, I think he's growing. I don't think any of them really had. I wouldn't go any less than a 7 for Johnson today. I don't think he was any less than a 7 in my mind.
I'm going to give him a 6. I'm afraid, Nick.
You're going to go a 6. All
Sorry,
right,
mate.
As you're the guest, we'll let you do that one.
You sure you don't want to give a half mark? And we'll split the difference and go 6.5.
No half marks. No half marks. It's against the rules.
Damn.
So next we'll do Cresswell.
Cresswell again. I mean, like I say, being hypercritical, I thought he was dragged out of position for the goal that Wolves scored. That aside, I thought he looked decent. I'd probably give him a 6 as well, to be fair. And for me, 6 is not a bad mark. I mean, I think 6 is sort of like, so average, whatever.
Yeah.
I think when you start getting 5, that's sort of like, that's a bbit dodgy territory. So 6 for me isn't a bad mark.
All right, come on in. Let's go 6 for Cresswell then. I would have given him a 7 personally, but
okay.
I think the overall performance today is difficult to give anyone a great rating in this one. I'm going to go Zuma on this one. I'm going to go for a 5. I'm not going to go lower than a 5 on Zuma because that wouldn't be fair. But he weren't good today. Bless him. He didn't have a good game. But you can't. He's playing in a new position, so it's one of those, isn't it? It is hard. It is hard. But a 5 for him. Gordon, do you want to give Dawson a mark?
I think that on the basis that he was better than Zuma, in my opinion, I think he's a 6 as well.
Yeah.
I think so. What would you have given him?
I think you're right. I think so. He was the better of the 2 centre backs today, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I think so. I think that's fair. All right, that's fine. So okay, so let's go. Let's leave Souček until the end. Let's go Bowen. Let's go Bowen. Now, Bowen, for me, I think Bowen and Ben Rama in the first 10 minutes when we were pressing and we were doing well, there was some great link-up play there. They were doing really well. And then when Lanzini came on, there were glimpses. Bowen had that little shot. He was offside, wasn't he? Probably should have hit the target. But we were starting to look like we was going to create something. And he was working tirelessly as well in defence. So I think with the tools that he was given, again, it's 7 too much of a high mark. It's 7 too much.
I think it's in that 6-7 bracket, isn't it?
I'm going to go 7. I'm going to go 7 on Bowen.
Yeah, I think he was our best player going forwards.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
Yeah, and he got took off for bloody Yarmolenko.
Yeah.
I know. So,
I think 7's fair.
So let's go 4 now. Didn't have a good game today, in my mind.
No. How much of that is down to the baby? I'm not too sure, Nick. But you got to judge it on what you see. But I thought he was pushed back so deep. 5, 6. I think he's somewhere in that region, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm going to go 5. What do you reckon, Ben Rama?
Oh, again, you said it earlier. He started well, and then I just thought he faded badly. I thought he was a 5 as well, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I know. It's difficult to go much higher than that. I think for some of these players, like I say, there's glimpses, and he was there was a lot of running going on, but
I thought he worked hard, but worked hard off the ball.
Yeah, no, I agree. What about Antonio?
Oh God,
it's a difficult one, isn't it? I think he was starting the service,
Again, exactly what you say. A striker's only as good as the service he gets, and the service he got wasn't of particularly good quality. I mean, but when what he did, when he had the ball, I don't think he made the most of his opportunities. Again, I think probably a 5 is about it, really. 5. I think it's one of those. It's sort of like 5, 6, that sort of realm. It's it's arguable, but I'm going to go 5.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
What would you have said?
I probably would have gone a 6 for Antonio.
Okay.
That's probably what I would have done, purely based on the fact he was He was running his socks off. He was up against 3 big centre backs. He was tracking back an awful lot. There was an awful lot of the time in the game where he was back at fullback. He was, he weren't just sitting up there sulking. He was putting a shift in.
Oh, he always works hard.
Yeah,
but
so I'm going to go 6. I want to go 6.
Problem is, he's sort of like, as you say there, he was sort of like coming back and helping. But it's like when he's doing that, it's like, what's your out ball? He's your number 9.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, I know. He was a 5 or a 6 when he for that one.
Yeah.
Declan Rice. For me, he's a 7. He was our best player, as he often is. Won his best game, but again, I think he was our best player. I kind of agree with John on this. This is causing some outrage, Gatesy.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got Cress 6 and Benny 5. That is true. Benny was shit and Cresswell weren't. So if Benny's a 5, Cresswell is more than a 6.
Do you reckon he's a 7?
Yeah. Listen.
Okay, make him a 7.
Okay, we're listening to the chat.
We'll have a 7. Yeah, I'd say it's one of those, isn't it? I think it's sort of like, is 6 too low? Is 7 too high? That was why I was asking, is there a half mark? Because I'd have probably sort of said, well, maybe 6.5 would have done it. So
yeah, that's right. Okay, all right, we've listened, people. So
people have spoken.
So right, so Rice, we said 7. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'd say he's in that sort of bracket. I think he grew as the game went on. In all fairness, he was definitely one of our more effective players, along with Fabianski and Bowen, in my opinion.
Yeah. So the next one is going to be Souček.
Oh,
are we pulling out the donkey for Souček? Is he low? Is he lower than a 5?
I love him, but yeah, he is. He's a 4. He was a passenger, mate. He did nothing.
No, so these are the rules, people. So I'm not doing this just for Souček. Anyone who's lower than a 5.
And I'm not saying he's a donkey of a player.
No.
Let's get that out there. Am I saying he's a donkey? But he's a donkey in this game.
In fact, I'm gonna take him off because that's gonna upset people. But I've made me gesture. That's we'll give him I'll tell you what. 1 minute. Let's give him a 4. Yeah, it's not fair to call him a donkey. Bless him. Hang on. Okay. A 4 is a fair score.
Poor lad. I'm sure he did his best, but his best wasn't good enough on the day. It's as simple as that.
He don't deserve a donkey head, though.
Nah,
that's not fair. If Masuaki was on, I'd give him a donkey head. That'd be no problem at all. That's basically
poor lad.
I know. Right now, I tell you, who might get a fucking donkey head.
Oh,
and this one. Let's start with Vlasic. What score did you give him when he came on?
I think he's probably going to be a 4 as well, isn't he?
Hey?
I think he's going to be about a 4 as well. Or am I being overly generous?
I would go less.
Really?
I would go less.
See, it's always difficult to mark a sub, isn't it? Because it's like they've got to come into the sort of like the pace of the game and all the rest of it. But
all right, let's give him a 4. Let's not be brutal. He was shit though. He was terrible.
He gets the donkey's head as well.
Yeah, so I'll give him a donkey's head.
3 or 4, he's going to get the donkey's head either way. It doesn't matter.
Let's do that. Go on. Sorry, mate. Right. So Yarmolenko.
Donkey.
He's a donkey and all.
Yeah, I'd give him a 5.
Oh, he's not a donkey then. If he's a 5, so that's.
I thought 5 was. Oh, is it not?
No, ignore that. No. I made an adjustment, didn't I? I thought.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was being a bit too brutal with the donkey marking. Right. So, right. Lanzini.
I don't think he offered much in the way of a threat when he was brought on. I really don't. As you said, everybody knows what he's going to do. Everybody sort of like, oh look, he's going to chop in on his left again.
Yeah. Lanzini, from the time that he came on, I would go as far as to give him an 8. Personally,
I was going to say a 7, so I'm not a million miles away from you.
I will go as far as to give him an 8. I think from the time that he came on, I think he was that influential. Even tackling, he came in, he put a couple of sort of crunching tackles in straight away. Which which he does. And that's another thing that people don't give him credit for. He does get stuck in.
Yeah,
he does get stuck in. I'm going to give him an 8.
Yeah, do it.
And that probably means that Lanzini's our man of the match as well.
He's got to start against City, isn't he?
He's got to start against City. Yeah,
He has to.
Think so. I think so. Let's spare Vlasic's blushes. Let's take the donkey off his head. I feel bad doing that now. It seemed like
You've got a little collection of donkeys' heads over there.
It seemed like a good idea at the time. I feel naughty now.
He probably does lots of good work for sort of like children's charities and all that, and we're humiliating him. Terrible.
I know.
Why didn't I have this idea on Forged? I'm disappointed.
I know. I mean, what we could do really is we could go worse and we could put him in a bin.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
he won't mind. We've already called him a donkey, so putting him in the bin is that really significantly worse?
I know. I feel really bad now, and I feel like a turncoat because I've been fighting his corner, and I do really hope that he comes good, and I feel sorry for him. It's not his fault that he's got that price tag on his head. No. It's not, but he has. He's on a decent wage, and he's. I don't know. From what I've seen like today, it was an awful performance. Yeah. It really was. And you're bringing a sub on to change the game. Lanzini came into the team. He was full of energy. He came on with intent. I don't know what Vlasic offered. At least Yarmolenko tried a few things. Every time he fucking tried it didn't foul, didn't it? But at least he tried a few things. But anyway, that's
so. What changes do you think are going to forget the Vienna game, Gal? What changes do you think he's going to make for City? Do you think he's going to drop Souček or Benny?
No, he won't. No. Souček's fit. He plays. If he's not fit, he plays. It doesn't. In my opinion, that is and you can't knock him to this point because we're winning every game. So. Yeah. But my fear is because I've seen there's a report on Lanzini. Lanzini is enjoying himself, but when it comes to next season, he's 28 now. He's in his prime, and he loves West Ham, but apparently he wants to play. So there's no ultimatums. I think basically along the lines of what he's more or less said is, no one can demand to play. Yeah. I think it's quite fair that he's kind of said, at this stage in my career, I want to be in the first team. And especially when you're in this scenario where every time you come on, you impact a game positively. And there are players in that team, in your position, who have been shit. And there's no other word for it. No. He's not been good. We won't say shit. He's been below par for a consistent period, right? For a consistent period, he has. And I think Souček, it might do him good to take him out the firing line.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one that's bigger than, no one that's bigger than the club. If they're not performing, then they need to have a spell on the bench. It's as simple as that. Absolutely. There's probably one player that you excuse from that, and that's probably Declan Rice. Yeah. But then his standards have never really dropped significantly to allow that to even be a conversation you need to have.
And this season, Antonio, because we've got no one else, have we? So he's the other one.
Yeah, but as I say, that's the thing that kind of frustrates me is the fact that the only reason that he's undroppable is that not because he's that good, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he isn't good, but the fact that, well, who's going to replace him?
Yeah, no, I know.
So this is why this is why we absolutely need to get Lingard in. And, to the people that are like, we don't need Lingard. No, we seriously do. And if you want evidence of that, watch today's game.
Absolutely, mate. But I think
it'd have been absolutely magic coming off the bench. 20 minutes to go. Could you imagine him coming on for, well, take your pick. He could have come on for Ben Rama. He could have come on for Fornals. He could have come on for Antonio himself.
Do you know what? We had a show last night, mate, and we basically do a feature now called Transfer Roulette. And what that is, all the players that we're linked with, you can't review them all, and plus it frustrates me doing it. So we spin the wheel for centre backs and attackers, and it picks the player that we've got to review. So we just review 2 players each week on the Booze Up. And Claret got pulled out yesterday, and Martial. Now, Martial was one of those that raises a lot of eyebrows. But you know what? You look at that game today, you telling me you wouldn't put Martial on that pitch?
Oh, I've wanted him through the door for a little while, actually, Martial. Right. Jesus.
People are trying to tell me from what they saw today that Martial ain't getting in that team. Do me a favour. Yes, he is.
And people question his attitude, Nick. I'm not being funny, but it's like it's because he ain't fucking playing.
Where does it come from? It's like Lingard. Lingard had the same thing when he came to us. Tammy Abrahams had the same thing.
Yeah.
And like you just said, do you want players to be fucking smiling and happy when they're not getting any game time?
Exactly.
You know, that's not. It's never going to happen, is it? It's never going to happen. But anyway, look, we've just got a few more comments here. So E20.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
100%, James. Can't disagree with you.
He was rubbish. We need Lingard. We need a squad. Yeah, no, it is 100%. It is. We do need more. We need a deeper squad. We need a deeper squad. But John is convinced that Lanzini's gonna stay, and I hope you're right, mate, because he's one of my favourite players. He always has been.
I think the only place he's going is back to Argentina when he goes, isn't he?
Absolutely. Right, this one here, Russell Taylor. My only apprehension about the new buyer and his links. We don't need a conveyor belt of mediocre. No, we don't. Do
you think that Moyes would take mediocre Eastern European dross, though?
Well, we've got... No. Well, you can't call Vlasic mediocre Eastern European dross because he cost a fucking fortune. He is. But, so we've got... Faye has said, get Lings in. I'm completely with you, Faye, on that.
Definitely.
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, like, especially, like, I think maybe... Because when you look on social media... There are so many people, too many people, more people than there should be that are against that move. And like I say, hopefully that game today, what that's done is that's fucking cleared that up a little bit.
I understand that. I really don't get it. And I know what Charlie's put there, that Lingard was out of form for the last third of his time with us, and that may well be the case. But
it is true,
he,
mate.
he was bang in form for 2/3 of it. Then
that is true, and I must admit that was a concern of mine, and that was a criticism of mine at the time because he was like Messi, wasn't he? For the when he first came to us, and then once he got his England call up, it did tail off. But nonetheless. You got to remember, he hadn't played for God knows how long. He came in. I think a lot of that was going to be adrenaline driven. So we might not get the Jesse Lingard that came in the first time that was like Superman. But, you know, I'd be happy with 50% of that player. I've got to be honest.
If he came in and played sort of like half the season there or thereabouts, so 19 games, and if he got, say, 6 goals and maybe sort of 3 or 4 assists, that could be the difference between finishing, you know, all right, let's sort of like be a little bit sort of temper my enthusiasm. I won't go, that could be the difference between Champions League and Europa League, but let's just say could be the difference between qualifying for Europe and not. Yeah,
absolutely. I think so, and we're going to need it. I think we need to make it through this run. We've got to make it to January and be in touch and still be in touching distance of that top 4.
Here's something for you though. Have you stopped to consider this?
What about this one here? Look, was Vlasic and Moyes or a club buy? What's your opinion on that one?
I've got to say he's got to be a Moyes buy, hasn't he?
Oh,
surely.
I would say so because in the summer they was trying to get Moyes to sign a contract, so he ain't going to sign a contract if they're throwing players at him that he don't want. So that he is definitively a Moyes buy. Now Moyes has got it right more often than not. He is allowed to get one wrong. He is.
Yeah,
you know, they're all
even Alex Ferguson got them wrong from time to time.
Exactly. But right, who's Faye talking about? She's talking about Lingard, isn't she?
Have you clocked though what happens in January?
Yeah. Sorry.
Have you clocked what happens on the 22nd of January, which could delay the signing of Lingard?
I don't know. It's my birthday on the 23rd though, so
we play Manchester United.
Oh yeah, but they can't be doing that. I think Moyes is literally.
I wouldn't be shocked if they hold off on that transfer until that game's out the way. I believe that.
I'll be honest with you. I think they'll pick up anyway. I think if they get it, because he's not going to be here long, Ollie. We know that when they do get another manager in, they'll pick up. So I'm hoping
give him a 5-year contract.
Yeah, no, I know. Oh my God, Cooper, Vlasic played well, but not good enough. No way.
I don't know what game you were watching, mate, with all due respect.
No way. I don't agree with that. But everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I've got to be honest. You know, I think my 12-year-old would have been able to do what he did on that pitch.
Yeah. I hope James is right that he is in on the first, but I very much doubt it. I can see Man United sort of saying no. We'll make West Ham wait until the 31st.
Yeah.
Because we're at the minute we are a direct rival.
All right. So this is Charlie. So all right, Charlie. So in your opinion, in the summer, so what he's saying is that this is a club signing and not a Moyes signing. So basically, what we've got to do is when a signing comes in and he's amazing, David Moyes signed him. It's a David Moyes signing. When a signing comes in and it's not right, we're going to blame the club because it can't possibly be David Moyes. Now, are you telling me, Charlie, that David Moyes would have signed that contract when he was hot property in the summer because he'd repaired his reputation if the club were throwing players at him and spending his budget, players that he doesn't need or want? I'm not so sure. I think more of Moyes than that now. I think maybe go back a year, he would have done anything. He would have taken any job in any situation. But at that point in the summer, I don't think so. I think he was holding all the cards.
Yeah, I think basically the signings that we've made in the last year, I think by and large, the one exception might be Ben Rama, maybe. But I think pretty much all the other signings, I don't really see that there's too many of them that I could look at and go, that's got David Sullivan's fingerprints all over it.
Yeah. Cooper Zen, how do you all feel about GSB? I don't. I'll be happy when they're gone. But at the moment, I'm sort of concentrating on the football. Good step in the right direction. With Sullivan reducing his shareholding, I think that should make a big difference. He's I think obviously collectively between him and Gold, they're still the major shareholder collectively. But Kretinsky is the second biggest shareholder. They're going to go, mate. It's as simple as that. The minute that whatever that situation is, where they get penalised if they sell the stadium too soon, sell the club too soon. As soon as that moment comes, Kretinsky is going to. I'm pretty certain that's the case. That he's going to steamroller through and hopefully boot them out. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
And it's nothing personal against them. It's just purely, in my opinion, they're not equipped to run a Premier League club right now.
No, so that's it. So again, Charlie said, I don't disagree with that point, but would Moyes buy a player that doesn't fit his system? His refusal to buy a striker is a good example. Well, I've got to be honest. I think that on paper, when you look at Vlasic and what he was doing for Spartak Moscow, wasn't it? No, was it Spartak we got him from?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you look at, because I watched his show reel, that's the only time I've ever seen him play. He looked like a Bowen Fornals type player. So yes, when you looked at him, I was quite excited when he came in because he looked like that type of player. When you look at the show reel, he looks explosive. He looks powerful. He was knocking players off the ball, jinking random, scoring good goals. He looks very Bowen-like, if you like. So I just think that sometimes a manager can get it wrong. I think I think that is the case. And he says Spartak was crowd. Who the bloody hell did we get? CSKA.
Oh, CSKA.
CSKA. Yeah. But what's this? Yeah, look, Nick, you could look good in a show reel. I know. Yeah, I know it's true. That is
Marco
true.
Boogers looked good on one of those once upon a time.
I know, and that's I know. But anyway, look, we've been going for over an hour. It is a review. I don't really want to talk about. I want to wrap this game up and forget all about it and consign it to history.
Yeah, it was a bad day at the office, as the guys say. I'm not going to go and jump off a tower bridge. Listen, it was a poor performance. I think we all can recognise that. But it's okay. We've analysed the game. It was crap. We could do better. But looking at the season thus far, it's been a good start so far. So let's not lose sight of that.
No, absolutely. Now, Gatesy, thank you very much for joining
My pleasure.
us. Do you want to give you're in the link anyway? Do you want to give your channel a little shout though?
Yeah, if any of you guys that are watching wouldn't mind, go onto YouTube, put in the search bar "Forged from Iron West Ham United." You'll find us, and just if you wouldn't mind, just give us a subscribe, even if you don't watch all the nonsense that we come out with. A subscribe here and there does help. But we sort of like do pre and post match and various other little bits and pieces. News stories, transfer stories, all sorts of different bits and pieces. So yeah, if you haven't already subscribed, I'd be much obliged if you could do so. Thanks very much.
Good stuff. And thank you all for joining us on this miserable Saturday night. I hope you enjoyed that show. And like I say, you're watching Claret and Booze.
Look at this.
If you like what we're doing,
empty.
pour yourself another one. Pour yourself another one. If you like what we do, subscribe. Hopefully, you know, there's going to be a lot more upbeat ones this season because that's the way it's been. So I don't think that was too downbeat. I think we're okay. I think we manage that pretty well.
Sometimes you are the statue. Sometimes you are the pigeon.
Exactly. Love it. So yeah, thank you for joining us and see you next time. Come on, you irons.